Hi and welcome back. This is my 6-month review of the Cupra Born VZ. We picked this up in late September 2024. It is now early February 2024, so 5 months, not quite 6 months, but I thought I'd get this done now, give some feedback on what the car's like, how we've been getting on. Put simply, absolutely great. No problems with it whatsoever. Actually, that's a lie. No problems with the car. A few problems with the charging mechanism, with the combination of Ohmie charger, Octopus, Intelligent Octopus Go, and Cupra web services. So between the three of them, they have to work together. They have to talk together to give you the intelligent overnight charging for the cheap rate. And a couple of times when we've needed to go on a long journey, it's let us down. Like we plug it in, wake up the next morning, and it hasn't charged. And the couple of times it's happened, it seemed to be times when we actually needed it to go to 100%. And there hasn't really been any explanation for what happened those times. So it's difficult to put your finger on it when it just happens, then goes away and doesn't happen again. But those types of issues have been few and far between. Generally, you plug it in overnight, and the next morning it's at 80%. The car is nice and warm, ready to go to work. We generally don't tend to look at the range very much. At the moment it's on 52%, 153 miles. 153 miles remaining. And it has been fine for the range. We've done a few long journeys. We've gone up to... we've done a few long journeys. We've gone up to Leeds and back. We've been to Brighton and back, Cardiff and back, those journeys quite a few times. And we generally don't tend to try and do it on a single charge. We will pre-plan, look at somewhere along the way to charge, stop for 10 minutes to have a top up, get a quick coffee, and on our way. It's no real hardship. And it more than makes up for the not having to go to a petrol station ever, which is brilliant, just driving straight past them. Anyway, the car itself, great. The infotainment system, great. These capacitive buttons, they work fine. I have no problems with them. I grip the steering wheel like this. I never touch them, never accidentally touch them. Some people do, apparently. The seats are still really nice to sit in, still very supportive, and I was a little bit worried when we first had the car that maybe they would get a little bit hard on long journeys, but not at all. A 4-hour journey, it's no problem. You get there and you hardly feel like you've been sat down. I now tend to drive this in B mode most of the time. I don't like drive mode anymore because it feels wrong coming off the accelerator and the car coasting. I don't like that anymore. I just like to use my right foot to accelerate and brake, and they've set this up perfectly for that, because the brake mode is nice and powerful, but it doesn't stop you all the way. It gets you almost to a standstill and then just lets you roll slightly, which is exactly what you want when you're coming up to roundabouts and traffic lights. So that's ideal. Because I'm in B mode all the time, I don't really need to use the flappy paddles for the change to the regenerative braking. If you're driving in D mode, they would be semi-useful because you just use them to control as you're coming to a stop, but as soon as you put your foot on the accelerator again, then it resets it. So they're almost pointless to me. Right, what else? The heated seats and heated steering wheel over the winter has been great. We set this so it heats the seats in the morning and air conditions the car and warms it up and gets it ready for my wife to drive it to work, which is very civilized. The boot, it could do with being slightly bigger, but you cut your cloth to fit. When we're packing things in the boot now, we tend to put them into storage bags rather than boxes, and everything packs down much better. So university moves with the kids has been absolutely fine. Larger loads, we put the back seats down, and when the back seats are down, it's actually a really large loading space. Yeah, B mode there, absolutely perfect. It feels exactly right for the amount of braking that you would like to do. I've seen some people question how long the tyres last. This one has the Bridgestone Turanza tyres, 20-inch. I'm not sure what the width is or the profile. They don't really look that worn to me at the moment, and we have done vehicle driving data 7,060 miles, so above average, unfortunately. But I've seen reports of tyres needing to be changed after 12,000, which doesn't look like it'll be the case with this. Perhaps if I was doing some drifting and some burnouts and actually accelerating quite hard, it would be the case, but it seems okay so far. So the only things I'm still not overjoyed about are, one, this A and A+1 pillar here. When it rains, when it gets dirty, it is quite difficult to see out of this little hole, and you come to roundabouts and you do have to do a little look around each side. And also, if you're going around slight right-hand bends, you have a little bit of a blind spot there that you have to keep your eye on, which is not ideal, but lots of cars have those now, and I think it's because of the quite shallow rake on the windscreen to get good aerodynamics, so you can get the most range. But it's fine. You get used to it very quickly, you work around it. And possibly the most infuriating thing is something which I think most cars have now, which is these safety features that don't remember. So a lot of times the lane guidance gets in the way, thinks that you are too close to the edge or you are drifting or something like that, when you're actually just driving normally around the country lane, and will start moving the... No, it hasn't done there. We'll start moving the steering wheel for you. And a lot of times, as soon as it does it the first time when I'm driving, I would just swipe that down and I would just turn that off. Fortunately, it doesn't remember it between drives, so you will have to do it every time you get into the car. Another one which you can't even add to the favourites is the speed alert. And I tend to leave that on now, but it is a bit of a pain when it gets the speed limit for a certain road wrong and carries on beeping at you when you know you're not speeding. The handling is as incredible as it was when we first started, when I first got the car. It's so precise and pointy that you can just track the inside of a corner perfectly, and the car doesn't lean. Or I just leave it on comfort mode because it's nice and smooth. It's not like Mercedes or limousine smooth. It just doesn't it doesn't hit too hard on the bumps, so you can feel most bumps. You hit the bumps, but then it's never harsh. So you can tell the car is heavy because as it hits the bumps, you know, it moves the car, and then the car very quickly recovers afterwards, and that kind of gives away the weight, but most of the time it's well disguised. The performance, I don't think I really need to say anything about that. It's not quite supercar territory, but you know, it's not far off. 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds with instant torque away from the lights will outdrag most things. In Cupra mode, you just get a sudden slam in the back if you just go 60. Just bury your foot. Okay, so standing start. Ready. $60. I'll try and time that on the video. I leave auto hold on all the time now for comfort. It's just really nice that when you come to a junction, you just come off the brake and sit there, and then you can pull away smoothly without worrying about rolling back or anything. Sometimes when connecting Android Auto, the screen will be blank, which means that I then have to go into the settings, into mobile devices, and press the Android Auto connect twice, once to disconnect and once to reconnect, and then the screen pops up. Okay. I think it's not immediately obvious on this that there is an extra switch at the bottom of the accelerator for like the e-boost, I think it's called. So like to the bottom of the accelerator is like that, and then you press the switch and you get a little bit extra. I think I've mentioned before about the brakes. It's not really a factor anymore. It's not something I even think about or consider, because it's what you get used to, and if I need to stand on the brakes, they work. It's just a different feel that you have to press a little bit harder to begin with because of the flow between regen and actually using the pads on the discs. Very, very occasionally the car does some slightly unexpected things, like it won't put the seat back in the position that you had before, which is sorted by just pressing one of your buttons on the side of the seat for your memory, where you like it. On this seat, I leave number 1 for my wife, number 2 for me. So if it doesn't reset, you just hold down for me number 2, and it just puts it back in the right place. You can do the same with the passenger seat as well. So you can have like number 1 to be for one passenger, number 2 for another passenger, number 3 lying down. So for me, I'd say the car is pretty much faultless. I'd be more than happy to not change this car for anything else in future. And there aren't many cars that I've had that I could say that about. The support from Cupra has been pretty terrible, really. I haven't been able to set an option on the app ever since I've had the car. Doesn't really bother me, but they haven't been able to sort it out. The app has gradually got better over the past 5 months. For each update, it's slightly better and works a bit better, but a lot of times you'll open it and it'll just sit there and can't connect to the car, so you force close it on Android and open it again, it works fine. Same with the Omi app, that's no better. And the routines on the Omi app sometimes are a bit hit and miss. They sometimes work, sometimes don't. So both of those aren't great. In the end, you get around it, and it's not the worst thing in the world. It's a slight inconvenience very occasionally. Sometimes when you push the accelerator around a corner, you will see the traction control light just have a little flash, and you know nothing about it from the feel of the car, because it's just very quietly getting on with its job of keeping those back tyres sticking to the road. The technology there is brilliant. Like there. boot it round the corner, you don't know anything about that it's trying to lose grip and keeping control for you. On this journey so far, I'm averaging 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Decent weather, 4 miles per kilowatt hour is about what you'd expect. On the motorway, when it's cold, when you've got heated seats on, when you're against the wind, all those kind of things, you know, that can drop underneath 3. But I think if you've got a car with 79 kilowatt hour capacity, you really don't need to worry about the range. It's just not a consideration anymore. The car will drive longer than you want to go in one journey. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this 5/6 month review check-in of the Cupra Born VZ. It's a great car. There's nothing wrong with the car. The e-services aren't exactly perfect from Cupra. Hopefully that will get better. The charging, public and at home, is A-/B+. It's almost there, you know, a few little problems. Again, hopefully that will get better. But all in all, it's been absolutely brilliant. So if I can answer any questions, let me know in the comments and I will do my best. Or if there's anything you'd like to see me cover in a forthcoming video, then let me know and I'll also do that. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.